What up, guys? I'm back again and reviewing a very sentimental book to me, or a team actually. New Warriors. New Warriors came out in the 90s, and it was a team consisted of a bunch of teenagers, kind of like Marvel's spin on Young Justice. And I like the concept that they had for the team. You had Night Thrasher, a guy whose parents was murdered, and he ended up using his money to fund a team to start fighting crime, like on a street level as well as basically like international, wherever they could get you know to fight and do justice. So you had Night Thrasher, Marvel Boy, which was he was a low level mutant telekinetic, and he's still learning how to use his powers at the time. My favorite character, one of my favorite, excuse me, Speedball, the Mass Marvel, kinetic energy field manipulator. Well, he didn't exactly know how to control his powers, but later on he does learn how to figure that out. But at the beginning, he would just bounce around from place to place and was basically invulnerable and impervious to most anything from bullets to fire to most anything that was had a kinetic momentum to it, basically. And then you had Firestar, which if you grew up in the 80s, you remember Firestar from Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, which I used to love that show. But she was like one of the ones, another mutant that was brought up through the Hellfire Club, or as a Hellion. And actually, let's see. This is actually her first appearance right here. Newsstand copy, X-Men Special Double Size issue 193, and you can see she's back over here in the corner fighting Rogue. And I believe this is also the first costume change for Warpath. So this is kind of a key issue right here. And it's a John Romita Jr. cover as well. John Romita Jr. But that's her first appearance. And another big another person that they had in the stories and on the team that kind of made a resurgence, and he had his own series in the 70s, and then he kind of faded out, and so New Warriors was a way to bring him back into the fold, and I appreciate that they did this because I'd always loved this character, and I'm still hoping for his MCU debut. So and he's one of my favorites on the team, and that is Nova, the Human Rocket, or Richard Rider. Not Sam Alexander. I'm sorry, I don't like Sam Alexander. I like Richard Rider as Nova. And he is in the New Warriors, and he is also like one of my top favorite characters on that team. Him and Speedball. And you also have Namorita, which is Submariner's cousin. And she plays a role in the team too. And I mean, it's just a bunch of young heroes thrown together in different situations, and their actual first appearance is in Thor 411 right here, and you can see newsstand copy. But 411, they make their first cameo appearance at the end of this issue, and Thor's fighting the Juggernaut, and they come along to help out. Now, their first ever cover is on Thor 412, and as you can see, there's Night Thrasher, Marvel Boy in the background, Speedball, Nova, Firestar, and Namorita. And this is their actual debut issue, as you can say, because this one right here is the Cameo 411, and that is their actual cover and where they make their actual debut as the New Warriors. As you can see right here. And they are actually, it's actually, to me, this is actually one of the most underrated teams. And what they're really, and to me, what they're really most known for is kicking off the Civil War, which I kind of felt like that was like I love the Civil War. There's nothing wrong with the book. The series was great, but like for them to kill like most of the team, especially Night Thrasher. I mean, Night Thrasher had potential to be a better character, and Namorita was also killed in that. The only survivors that I believe on this that are still alive right now on the team is Speedball, because he actually became Penance for a while, which I did not like, but when he became Speedball again, I did enjoy that. Nova's still around, Firestar as well as Marvel Boy, or as Justice as you would know him now. So this is their actual first full appearance right here, which is Thor 412. Now this is the actual preview to their actual comic book, which is Marvel Age 89, where they're on the cover. And I remember this being in advertisements for different books when I used to read when I was younger. And when I seen Nova and Speedball, I was like, oh, I gotta see what this is about. I gotta find out what's up with this team, because they have Nova in it, and I hadn't seen Nova in a while, and Speedball was in it, and I was like, oh, I loved Speedball as a kid. And so yeah, this is Marvel Age 89, and as you can see, they're on the cover. And this is actually done by Mark Bagley, and Mark Bagley is one of my favorite artists of all time. From Spider-Man to New Warriors, he did New Warriors so well, and then like he jumped ship and went to Spider-Man, which I don't blame him, but it was just, to me, his best work was when he was on New Warriors, because he just had so much to work with. But that's Marvel Age 89. And later on, I'm going to be opening up this box right here. I have an unboxing to do. So I'll be opening this up later on. And that'll be in the third segment after the review of the story of the New Warriors issue number 1. So let's get into the review of New Warriors issue number 1, and I'll see you in the third segment. You guys have a great one. Queens, New York. An armor-clad individual dangles a man off the side of a building. He demands from the man, "Answer the question. Are you or aren't you Richard Rider?" Yes, the man exclaims, and with that, the armor-clad individual releases him, sending him plummeting to the ground. As Richard falls, something inside him clicks, and his eyes flash a surge of energy, and he screams, "Oh man, I can fly again," and takes back up into the air. He tells the clad armored man, "How did you know that I used to be Nova? How did you know I would get my powers back?" The armor-clad individual just says 2 things. "I didn't." Richard exclaims, "What? You could have killed me," and rockets towards the armor-clad individual. The man grabs him out of the air and slams him into the ground and tells him, "But I didn't. I gave you back the only thing that you wanted more in this world. And now I need something from you." Morning in Manhattan, an individual floats close to the Avengers mansion, and a bystander asks, "Who are you?" "I'm Marvel Boy." And the bystander asks, "Are you an Avenger?" And he replies, "Not yet, but give me 30 minutes. As he gets closer to the mansion, the security system activates and overpowers him, taking him down quickly. Once subdued, the security system identifies him as Vance Astro, leader of the Guardians of the Galaxy. In the distance, a voice states, "You're a little too young to be 1,000 years old, aren't you?" Vance looks up and sees Captain America. "I take it you're Vance Astro?" "Astrovic. I guess that's the guy I'm going to grow up to be," says Marvel Boy. "What can I do for you, Vance?" "Well, sir, I'm here to join the Avengers." "I see, but you're a little too young, and we don't have the training facilities needed to teach you anything. You might try back in a few years." "Yes, sir," Marvel Boy says as he walks away, disappointed. While flying over the city, Marvel Boy begins to doubt himself. Then all of a sudden he hears a voice. "Marvel Boy." "Who?" "My name is Night Thrasher, and this is Nova. We want you to join our group." Later in Queens, Gentech Corporation is conducting a soil contamination experiment. The news is there, and so is a very particular person. Namorita, the Submariner's cousin. She's there to make sure Gentech keeps their word and everything goes as planned. Across town in Manhattan, Night Thrasher brings the two gentlemen back to his base of operations, where the two meet Cord and Tay, Night Thrasher's guardians, and Night Thrasher explains, "My parents were murdered when I was a boy. I'm going to make all criminals pay for what they do, but I need help to do it, and that's where you guys, and hopefully one other, can come in." As Cord begins to type on the keyboard, Marvel Boy notices on the screen that it says Manchester Academy. And Marvel Boy exclaims, "That's that ritzy place up near Boston. I couldn't get accepted because of the tuition." "Hellfire Club? Whoa, that's nasty territory. How did you get access to their back door?" Cord exclaims, "Money talks." Angered, Nova grabs the Night Thrasher by the shoulder. "That's how you found out about me. You hacked the Fantastic Four system." Night Thrasher exclaims, "Even I can't do that." "Then how did you find out about me? Because after I lost my powers, I went to Reed Richards and hoped that he would restore my powers." "Exactly," said Night Thrasher. "And there was a 35% chance when he did his analysis that showed your powers would resurge. And once S.H.I.E.L.D. collapsed, you tapped into their systems and got Mr. Richards' report, didn't you?" "How long have you been watching me?" said Marvel Boy. "Did you see the hot dog vendor outside Avengers Mansion?" Night Thrasher exclaimed. "He gets $500 a month to tell me who goes in and out of Avengers Mansion, and today he told me about you." "And this Firestar person?" "She's the final piece of the puzzle." Night Thrasher proceeds to make a phone call. On the other end is Angelica Jones. "Hello? Angelica Jones? We know who you are and what you can do. And so will the world if you don't come to the penthouse of the Ambrose Building on 57th and Lexington. 30 minutes. Hello? Who is this?" Click. "No, no, no." As the phone hangs up in her face, Angelica jets out the window at top speed. Meanwhile, in Springdale, New York, a mother and her young son decide to get on a train to go to a trip to New York, but the son refuses to go, so the mother tries to entice him. "Don't be so melodramatic, Robbie. Besides, we're going to New York. Maybe while we're there, we'll look at that new TV you've been whining about." Back in Queens, the Gentech vehicle begins to excavate and collect soil samples and remove the radiation and contamination from the soil. As it churns and moves, it starts to collect more and more samples, and suddenly something happens, a spark in the container. As the scientists check the equipment, a body starts to form inside the casing. It lets out a scream. Namorita tells the people, "Everybody get back." As the casing explodes, the being lets out another scream, "Ah!" and then proclaims, "I am alive. Terex has returned." Back atop of the Ambrose building, Marvel Boy asks Thrasher, "Do you think Angelica's gonna appreciate your tactics, Thrasher?" Nova retorts, "He don't care, Marvel Boy. If you hadn't noticed, Night Thrasher hasn't a real interest in making any new friends." "I'm not trying to make friends, Nova. I'm trying to—" I know. Wage a war on crime, blah, blah, blah. Hey, listen, do you hear? Night Thrasher leaps from where he was sitting just before a beam of energy melts a hole through where he was just at, and a voice screams, "Who are you? How did you find out about me?" "It's Firestar." Night Thrasher proclaims, "Calm down." Nova and Marvel Boy look at the hole and point to Night Thrasher and proclaim, "It was his idea." Night Thrasher says, "We want you to join our group. It seemed like the quickest way to get you here." Furious, Firestar states, "You could have just tried asking." The building shakes with a rumble. Marvel Boy asks, "Was that you?" Firestar exclaims, "No." Night Thrasher says, "The chances of this area having an earthquake is nearly impossible. Come on." Night Thrasher finds out that the disturbance is in Queens at the site of the Gentech experiment. "No time to fuel the helicopter," Night Thrasher exclaims. "A helicopter?" Marvel Boy says. "You have a helicopter?" Marvel Boy can't fly far or fast enough alone. "Nova, you carry him. Firestar, we apologize for our methods, but we need your help." "Our methods?" Nova exclaims. "Can you carry me all the way to Queens?" "Gee, I'm not really sure. I guess we'll find out somewhere over the East River." Currently in Queens, Namorita is confronting Terox, trying to keep him at bay. Terox states, "Who are you, Earth Pig, to confront me alone? Are you a suicidal fleshling? Is protecting this mudball planet so important to you? Why don't you catch me, Terry baby, and then we'll trade gripes about Mother Earth together." Namorita announces to Terox. As Namorita dives into attack, Terox flings debris and earth upon her. "I'll crush you, filthy insect!" Her body is flung and slams into a car nearby. As she rises from the rubble, she thinks to herself, "Where's my cousin at when you need him? Or the Avengers?" As Terox plunges his hand into the ground, energy starts to surge through his hands. "I will trigger my cosmic powers and recreate my acts of vengeance." In the distance, a voice yells, "Back away from her!" Terox turns his head. "Who?" At the same time, a young Robbie Baldwin watches the fight ensue on the news. While his mom is distracted by the TV salesman, Robbie sneaks away and heads out the shop. On his way out, he trips over a delivery man carrying packages inside the store, and Robbie thinks to himself, "This should just be just enough to trigger my kinetic field and transform me into Speedball, the mass marvel." As Speedball heads towards the fight, Terox swings his axe and knocks Nova clear back into the sky. "Back, Nat!" Night Thrasher yells, "Firestar, take out that axe!" And with a blast of condensed microwave energy, she shoots at Terox. "Ah!" Terox screams. "Get that cursed heat away from me! I won't be burned to death again!" Again, as Namorita punches him with a right cross, sending Terox flying. "Don't take out your old grudges against us." As he crash lands, Night Thrasher comes darting up on his skateboard. Night Thrasher throws smoke grenades and tells everybody, "Everyone, hit him now while he's blinded." Terox responds, "Blinded? Insignificant mote. I'm able to see in the deepest, darkest reaches of space," and grabs Night Thrasher by the helmet. He flings him towards some sharp debris. As he rockets towards it, he stops immediately and floats up into the air. "Thanks for the assist." "Sure, but what do we do about Terox?" says Marvel Boy. The director of Gen Tech tells Night Thrasher that the creature can be stopped, but you'll have to listen to me. Night Thrasher instructs Marvel Boy, sit me down on the ground and help the others. As the fight continues, Terox deflects the microwave blast from Firestar. Away from me, I said. Don't you ever stop? Sneaking up behind him, Namorita says, that's the problem with you, Terry. Our reach always exceeds our grasp. Namorita states as she lifts Terox into the air. He screams in pain, and suddenly is hit by Nova. Nova shouts, look out, babe, and slams Terox back into the ground. Terox roars and sends earth and debris shooting Nova off of him. Nova states, looks like our good buddy Terox is losing it. From behind, a voice in the distance says, don't you mean our good Muddy? And Speedball bounces onto the scene, ricocheting uncontrollably from every angle, hitting Terox. As Speedball's kinetic bubbles swirl around Terox, Marvel Boy notices to himself they're chipping away at him. Maybe I can contain his field of energy and refocus it into a single direction. The pressure builds until Marvel Boy can't hold him any longer, and he shouts, now, and unleashes all the kinetic bubbles in one direction. Terox is bombarded by kinetic bubbles and begins to scream in pain. Ah! Terox begins to reconstruct his body from the earth and screams, I will kill you all. Marvel Boy asks, did it work? Speedball replies, yeah, he's even madder now. Night Thrasher explains, he's using the soil to replenish himself. Nova, Namorita, you have to... But before Night Thrasher can finish, Nova interrupts. We know what we have to do. Last thing I want to do is hear you ordering me around. Namorita exclaims, he's a good friend, I take it. Nova and Namorita grab Terox and fly into the sky. Night Thrasher yells, fly as high as you can. Namorita looks back and says, what difference is that gonna... And in that second, Terox starts to scream in pain. Nova replies, blue blazes, it's falling apart. And they hurl him up into the air. Boom! Terox explodes mid-air. As debris falls, Namorita states, we killed him. Nova turns down and looks down at Night Thrasher. He knew. That son of a... He knew. And he rockets down towards Night Thrasher. Thrasher, you let us kill him. No, I didn't, Night Thrasher states. I did, sort of, said the lead scientist of Gen Tech. The first time you picked him off the ground, our sensors indicated a major stress in his system. As the scientist tells his theory, a Quinjet shows up in the background, and the Avengers approach the scene. Captain America states, we can take it from here, kids. Cap and Quasar and She-Hulk, Marvel Boy exclaims. As the Avengers state that they'll take over from here, Speedball announces, sure, no problem. You take care of all the hard stuff, you know, like the press, the adulation, the glory, and the drooling female fans. Namorita exclaims, kids? Night Thrasher proclaims that we don't need the Avengers. We can do this ourselves. We can be a team. We can fight the crimes that they would never touch. We can make a difference. We can help people. Are you with me? And Night Thrasher proceeds to stick his hand out. One by one, they put their hands in agreement. And Marvel Boy states, well, what should we call ourselves? Speedball proclaims, well, on the news, they said we were a bunch of new warriors. And with that, Night Thrasher says, end of discussion. And thus, the new warriors were born. So I hope you enjoyed the review on issue 1. Now we're going to get to the unboxing. I'm going to open this up and show you what I got in the mail today. Hold on one second and I'll get this open. He wrapped it in plenty of bubble wrap and everything seems to be intact. Now let me show you what I picked up off of eBay. And I'm very happy to add this to my collection. This is brings back a lot of sentimental moments for me, as well as basically a lot of gratitude to own this right now. This is New Warriors #1. And it's very special because it is signed by Stan the Man Lee and as well one of my favorite artists, Mark Bagley. And sorry about that. It's a 9.2. And as you can see, hold on a second. Focus in on that real quick. Signed by Stan Lee and Mark Bagley with white pages. So I'm very happy to add this to my collection. This is something I'll always cherish and I'll pass down to my kids. This is one of my favorite books growing up in the 90s. If you never read New Warriors, or if all you know about them is just from them being killed in the Civil War prequel or whatever, this is actually a good read. So, like I said, I'm glad to own this book. This is my second Stan Lee signature book. So, and also my first Mark Bagley. So I'm very happy to have his signature in my collection. So, you guys have a good one. And remember my motto, low grade's better than no grade. Because if you don't got a grade, you can't get in the game. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. And remember to check out my other video for my 250 subscriber contest. You have a chance to win 100 eBay bucks or 50 eBay bucks if you're second place. So check that out and give it a shout out, or see if you want to do the video, or or tag me on Instagram for it. Check out the rules on it. And I'll catch you guys later.